the sky. Praise Him who gives us gladness. Praise Him who fills our hearts with song. Praise Him who lives our thoughts on high, where earthly hopes belong. Praise ye the Lord, all creatures, He who did make the seasons, He who did make the hush of night, He who made the sun. Praise Him who gave us laughter. Praise Him who taught our hearts to love. Praise Him and thank Him, everyone, seeking in His light above. Praise Him who gave us laughter. Praise Him who taught our hearts to love. Praise Him and thank Him, everyone, seeking in His light above. So now we'll do a couple of chants. The first one is a little more outward, and you could argue that this is a song, but my memory is that when Swamiji wrote this, it was as a chant, and he first wrote it in Italian. This is, I will always think of thee. And I'm going to post the words. I don't know if you have songbooks. I'd love it if everyone wanted to sing along with me. I don't know how that works. I think you can, right? Yeah. So here come the words in the chat box. And I don't know what that does for you guys in the church. Let's see, chat. Okay. But as you sing, really listen to the words that you're singing. Feel the energy and feel the truth of them. And it's, I think one of the big things that makes a chant different than a song is that it's really an affirmation, and in music. And the music, of course, helps it to go deeper into our consciousness and really shift things. Let's see. Let me just get this where I can see it a little better. Okay. Every morning when I greet the sun and I move forward through crowded roads, in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of Thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of Thee. When I laugh and when I cry with pain, when my best friends misunderstand, in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of Thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of Thee. Dear God, my God, I am thine for eternity. Dear God, my God, I am thine eternally. Though my path lead me over desert sands, though it take me through bitter storms, in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. When I'm working and running and with foes that come victory or no defeat, in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. Dear God, my God, I am thine for eternity. Dear God, my God, I am thine eternally. Dear God, my God, I am thine for eternity. Dear God, my God, I am thine eternally. Now sit up straight. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you breathe in the vibration of this song. In my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. Though my path lead me over desert sands, though it take me through bitter storms, in my heart, Lord, ever so silently, I will always think of thee. Dear God, I am thine for eternity. Just let the consciousness and the vibration of the song fill your body, fill your heart, and raise that energy to the point between the eyebrows, the spiritual eye. As we take this next chant into meditation, let nothing disturb thee, nothing affright thee. All things will pass. The words of Saint Teresa of Avila. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things will pass, but God changes not. Patient endurance brings you to victory. Once you have God, you'll want nothing more. God alone, God alone, God alone's all we ever need. God alone, God alone, God alone's all we ever need. Let nothing disturb, nothing affright you. All things will pass, but God changes not. Patient endurance brings you to victory. Once you have God, you want nothing more. God alone, God alone, God alone's all we ever need. God alone, God alone, God alone's all we ever need. God alone, alone, God alone's all we ever need. Sitting up straight with your shoulders back. And we'll dive deep into meditation for about 5 minutes. Waste no time. Dive deep and enjoy the bliss.
Remaining in this inward state, listen to affirmations for self-healing by Swami Kriyananda. This week's affirmation is calmness. Calmness is perfectly achieved when one's life's little wave becomes absorbed into the cosmic sea in divine ecstasy. In daily life, too, we can achieve calmness to a degree by keeping our awareness focused on the reality of the spirit underlying all outward circumstances. Calmness comes with the determination to live ever happily in the present moment, relinquishing the past and not worrying about the future, but placing our lives firmly in God's hands, knowing that He is fully in command. Calmness comes with non-attachment, with knowing that nothing in this world is truly ours. Affirming in a loud voice, though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. And now in more conversational tone, though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. And now in a whisper, taking it into the subconscious mind, though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. And now in silence, taking it even deeper into the subconscious, though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Now in silence, bringing your attention up to the point between the eyebrows, searing the affirmation into the superconscious mind. Though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Prayer. With thee beside me, I know that the tides of trouble can never sweep me away. Hold fast my hand, Lord, never let me go.
Now we'll have a reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. Week 24, How Devotees Rise. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. Last week, we asked the question, why did devotees fall? And we considered the downfall of Judas in this context. Jesus, in answer to Judas's criticism for allowing Mary to rub his feet with spikenard, a very costly ointment, said, "The poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always." Jesus is saying here that there is one supreme injustice that needs eradication. Poverty, yes, but not of a material kind, poverty in a spiritual sense. Divine blessings are not common in this world. They are extraordinary. When they come, we should give them priority above every other consideration. Never allow a moment of inner joy, for instance, to be set aside for lesser duties. Divine attunement is our highest priority. As Lahiri Mahashaya, the guru of Yogananda's guru, said, to listen to the heart's inner sound, Om, which issues from the very center of our being, is man's highest duty. Mary, on this occasion, was not communing in inner silence with Christ's Spirit, as she had been when Martha urged Jesus to reproach her for not helping out in the kitchen. Mary this time was serving outwardly, but in a very different spirit from the restless fussing for which Jesus had reprimanded her sister Martha. Those who see a radical difference between the paths of action and meditation should understand this distinction. To serve in the right spirit is necessary, for only thereby can we overcome our karmic tendencies toward restless activity. The important thing is that spirit be always inwardly focused, that in everything we do, we act in loving service to the Lord. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, the state of freedom from action, that is, of eternal rest in the spirit, cannot be achieved without action. No one by mere renunciation and outward non-involvement can attain perfection. Whenever the Spirit of God descends upon you, however, remember the words of Jesus, "Me ye have not always with you." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Welcome, everyone. This morning's reading from Whispers from Eternity, number 70. Make me the eagle of progress. Make me an eagle of progress, soaring far above narrow lanes of bigotry. Call me to soar ever higher and higher, far above all clouds of earthly pettiness. With the sharp talons of my soul, I will tear at the little squabbling birds of misery which prey upon mankind. I will free my mind's skies from the buzzards of cynicism which prey on carcasses of dead hopes. I will soar on balanced wings of wholesome living, high up into the finest regions of divine perception. High above the hurricanes of earthly preoccupation, I will soar higher and higher to those unimagined heights where thou alone dost dwell. Make me thy eagle of ever upward progress. It's just amazing the way in which Master used words with these whispers from eternity. His descriptions and his phrases are so powerful. So I have to tell a joke because it has nothing to do with the topic. Well, maybe it does a little bit. And actually, as I was looking for jokes, and the reason I say I have to tell a joke is because when Swamiji first, years ago, he was the only person who gave the Sunday talks. And then in the late, so he did everything. He did all the music, he did the fires, he did everything. And then in the late 70s, right around the time that I moved to Ananda Village, other people started giving the talks, and he directed people to start going out into the cities down to San Francisco. There was already a center in Sacramento. And so there is a beautiful, I came across some many years ago, the notes that he gave to people. It might have been Asha who took the notes, but just different tips on how to speak publicly. I mean, most of us, just like with singing, many of singers have had no training, but they come in, they start singing. You guys experienced that about a month ago, or whenever it was, and at the Kriya retreat. It was just beautiful to see how many people were willing to get up there and stand up in front of people and sing. It's not easy. It can be very scary and intimidating. So the same with giving a talk. And so one of his suggestions, this is my lead into that, is to make people laugh, open their hearts. And so to start off with a joke. So here we go. And I couldn't find just one joke because they were so short. I decided I'll give you 3 jokes because they're really just, one-liners. Did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma? There's no menu. You get what you deserve. That's probably the most spiritual of them. Here's the other one. You have to be on social media to get this one. A man tells his doctor, "Doc, help me. I'm addicted to Twitter." The doctor replies, "Sorry, I don't follow you." Meaning he didn't understand, and also he didn't follow him on Twitter. Okay, want to hear a construction joke? Oh, never mind, I'm still working on that one. Okay, I hope that made you laugh a little bit. It's a little hard since I can't see you. So last week, I was not able to be here with you, but I listened to Kyle's wonderful talk a few days ago. And thank you, Kyle. It was really inspiring. And so the topic was about how devotees fall and how, Judas and how he could, here he is, one of the chosen 12, and he fell so far. But ultimately, lifetimes later, he was redeemed. And so basically, when I kind of grew up hearing about Judas, it was, wow, how could you get any lower than that? It was the worst. And if there was a hell, which I don't believe in, it seems like that might have been a good place for him. I mean, I believe in hell in the sense that we all have our own personal, crash and burn. But this is the whole point of this topic. And today's talk is we rise. How devotees rise. It's inevitable. We have to rise. What goes down must come up. So we're going to fall. We're going to fall, and we can look at Judas as saying, wow, he fell. But that was all part of the plan. And his plan, Jesus' plan, it was all part of the divine plan. So who are we to say it was right or wrong? It was perfectly orchestrated. It was exactly what his soul needed, what Jesus, it was just all part of the plan. And I love this. Our dear friend Ram, I think he's here with us from Italy. He's always saying, everyone's on their journey. And so I hear that so much. I just, instead of judging somebody and like, oh my God, Judas, how could he betray Jesus? So everyone's on their journey. So, so falling is inevitable, and it's also inevitable that we will rise. We must. The question is, how far do we fall, and how long do we stay there? How long does it take us to pick ourselves up? For Judas, as Kyle mentioned, it's a wonderful book on the life of Ramakrishna's devotees, and one of his devotees. Jesus actually went to Ramakrishna and told him, can you take Judas and help him in his final steps of liberation? And he was, and I can't remember his name, and that's not really important, but it is fascinating, as Kyle mentioned, that he still had some lingering attachments to money and desires, and but he was liberated. So he was freed from that karma. Took 2,000 years. I don't know how many lifetimes, but he was freed. Not quite 2,000, but anyway. So that's the point: is how do we pick ourselves up out of, our crash and burn moments, not lie there in a puddle of grief and misery, or we do, but how long do we have to suffer in that before we're able to pull ourselves up and to move on, even with tiny baby steps? I'm reminded of I have some guitar students in India. Well, actually, they're not all in India, but anyway, the two that I've been working with the longest, and I know every week when we come together, one of them is, I didn't practice much, and I can feel her kind of a little bit of shame and embarrassment and disappointment in herself, and I just say, it really doesn't matter. If you practice, you're here. That's what's important, and you'll make progress no matter what. We practice every day. That's what makes people really masters at their craft. I was the same way. I remember I started piano lessons at age 5, and I loved it. I'd play around on the piano, but when it came to practicing what I was supposed to practice for my next lesson, it was either that morning before school, or it was like I didn't really practice during the week, and that is why I'm not a great pianist. But I still love to play the piano, and so we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. The important thing is not be down on ourselves, not carry that shame and disappointment, because it's part of life. And if we're stuck down there in the muck for a while, well, it's like in Swamiji's song, Life is a Dream. Sometimes a friend helps us ascend up from life's cares to the sky. And that's really one of the greatest gifts we can give to each other, is to just be there for each other, even just as a witness or a hand to hold, or just a presence, company, assurance, and understanding, sympathy, kindness. I probably say this in many of my talks, but it's because it really struck me. In one of the closing scenes of Finding Happiness, Juliet comes to Swami Kriyananda in the dome, and she's the person who was a magazine journalist, and she'd come to do this piece on Ananda, and was profoundly changed and during the experience. And she went to Swami and she said, but what can I do? Here I'm going back to my job in the city, and I love what you're doing, but this is not a quote, but basically, that was her, like, this is amazing and it's beautiful, but what can I do? And he said, well, just, get land outside of the city, go there as much as you can with friends and family or whatever, and go there as much as you can. And this is the part that struck me, and it kind of sums up really so much, just like, Ram's line, everyone is on their journey. Be kind. Be kind to each other. And it's interesting, I was having a conversation with my older daughter. It's my stepdaughter, but she's really like my daughter. And she's going to be getting married, and so we were talking about these kinds of things. And her fiance's father is a Presbyterian minister. Her biological mother, is a Unity minister. Her stepmother is an Ananda minister. Her biological father is an Ananda minister. And she's got 4 ministers in the family. And she was talking about the ceremony and what they would do, and obviously they aren't going to have any of the parents be the minister. And she said, we're agnostic. And she said, what that means, I guess I asked her, what does that mean to you? And she said, it just means that, we don't really know what is behind all this. We believe there's something, but the most important thing is to be a good person. And again, it's interesting to me, that's very similar to, it's the same energy as what Swamiji did. Be kind. So we do what we can to be good people, to live, to be kind to each other. And that's the general population, right? For us at Ananda, and who are disciples of this, our great master, and all disciples everywhere who have spiritual practices, these are the turbocharged units that can help us not just, drag ourselves up out of the mud, or, kind of brush ourselves off after the hurricane hits, or they can actually help propel us up. This is how we rise. We can really rise, is when we have the two cornerstones of our path, and the balanced path of balanced spiritual path, meditation, and service. So if we keep, and of course each of those, each of those things has a lot more to say about it. For us, Kriya Yoga and the other practices that we have to help us to dive deep into meditation, and chanting, and the music, affirmations, all of these things. And for service, it's really the attitude, because just as in the reading with, not this week, but a few weeks ago, but it was Mary again, and just attitude between, the difference in attitude between Mary and Martha. So we have to have the right attitude with our service. And so, like, we're doing it for God. We really are. That is what makes it a powerful spiritual practice. For instance, I'm going to quote here from Swamiji's writings. There's a rays of the one light that we hear the reading every week, and then there are a couple of other books where those readings are expounded. And actually, what really happened is that those were the original readings, and then Swamiji edited them quite dramatically to make them very short. And for instance, the readings that we have, all 53 of them, I think, because sometimes there's a 53rd week. Is that true? A 53rd Sunday? I'm not sure. Anyway, they fit into a pretty skinny book. Well, the original readings for these topics, they take 3 volumes. So that's a wonderful resource if you want to dive more deeply into these readings. And they're is it Rays of the Same Light, I believe is the one. And then I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the other book, but anyway, this is from Rays of the Same Light. The secret of the spiritual life is to balance meditation with selfless service. A good rule regarding the length of meditation is to meditate as long as circumstances and inspiration allow, and then to carry that inspiration out into activity, consciously impregnating everything one does with peace and joy. As Paramhansa Yogananda put it, be ever actively calm and calmly active. And this is where we tune into the affirmation, today's affirmation as well, on calmness. And then he goes on, the important thing is to keep the mind alert, willing, and creatively aware. So our mind can be a real asset to us, and it can also be troublesome. It can be an rebellious teenager. So keep the mind alert, conscious, awake, aware, willing. That's a good one. And creatively aware. Be always even-minded and cheerful, Master said. Now, you can see where someone who's not a strong meditator, maybe with a restless mind, and they shine as a karma yogi. And again, you can't compare people because they're getting just what the beautiful. I love that where it says meditate as long as circumstances and inspiration allow. And that's going to be different for everyone. And the important thing is to carry that inspiration out into your daily life, in relations with your family, and with your work, and with your friends. So that it's really, again, everyone's on their journey. We can't judge. Judas did the best he could given the circumstances he had, and it was his karma. The menu, he didn't get to choose the menu. It was his karma, and he got what he deserved, you might say, just like in that joke. So I'll just end with these last quotes again from Rays of the Same Light. Never allow a moment of inner joy to be set aside for lesser duties. Divine attunement is our highest priority. So again, if you're in meditation and circumstances allow and inspiration is there, go for it. Dive deep. Spend as long as you can. Don't just think, okay, well, it's, if you can meditate longer and the inspiration is there, fill up your cup. And because it's not always there. And that is going to be our greatest asset in picking ourselves up, helping us to rise and not be bound by our desires and our emotions and our circumstances, to be able to soar in freedom and divine joy, light, and ecstasy wherever you are in your life, whenever you have a moment of inspiration, not just even in meditation, but just try to amplify that and blow the flame, blow air into that flame. I was just at this gathering where we're out camping in the woods, and my daughter teaches how to make fire, and it's just a beautiful metaphor. You lay your sticks out very carefully so they're ready. You build the teepee, the little nest, the home, and then you rub the wood together, and the friction creates an ember, and you put that into the little nest that you've created with tinder, and you blow it. At first it's just a little ball of scraps of bark and soft things like that, and then you blow on it, and suddenly it gets bigger and bigger, and it bursts into flame, and you stick it in this little teepee, and the teepee poles they're all aspiring, they're all shooting up, and so the flame goes up. And it's a perfect metaphor for how we can live our lives, gathering the little sticks from the woods, from the ground, picking ourselves up, so to speak, and infusing ourselves with inspiration, the air the air that feeds that ember, that tiny ember that we all have inside us. We all have God inside us, and we are all just aspiring to become one with that all of the time. Bless you. So we'll have our offering now, and I guess Ines will make the prayer, and then I'll sing a song.
Offertory prayer. Please take what you would like to give, place it in your right hand, and repeat after me. Divine Mother, we offer to thee the fruits of our labors. Bless this offering, that it serve as a channel of thy light to truth-seeking souls everywhere. Peace. Amen.
Oopsie. Sorry, I'm having trouble. So I'm going to sing this song, I Live Without Fear, which is, again, a wonderful affirmation. All of the songs have such beautiful message. I can, the green summer fade and winter draw near. My Lord, in your presence I live without fear. Through tempests, through storms, through turbulent tide, the touch of your hand is my strength and my guide. I ask for no riches that death can destroy. I crave only thee, your love and your joy. I ask for no riches that death can destroy. I crave only thee, your love and your joy. The dances will pass, the